Okay. 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 Yeah, so we'll be following along with the handout that you got in my email that was with the Zoom link. So at the end of the class, you can just look at this handout that shows exactly what we'll do and how to get to it and, fiddle with all the settings. Just give me 1 second to get set up. We still have a couple people that might come in. Okay, so we'll get going slowly, just with a brief introduction. If you haven't used Gmail yet and you want to get a Gmail and then see what we can do with it, it is a free account, as we mentioned. You can use this link to make one. You can also just Google, make a Gmail account and find that page. It's free, like we said. You can make multiple of them if you want to have a at-home private life one and an office one. If you want, you can do that. And in addition to just being an email, a Gmail account is also a what's called a Google Drive account. So in addition to having an account that logs you into email, if you didn't know, you can find it just on the Google page if you just go to www.google.com. This little button up in the top right, this is all the apps that you kind of have access to. So you can see Gmail is obviously one of them. That's what we'll look at today, how to do all the advanced tips. But you also have things like Drive, which is kind of a file management system online. So instead of having all the files that you own stuck on the office PC and then stuck separately at home and using a USB flash drive to take files from one machine to the second, you can use Drive, which is a cloud-based file management system. So any place that you log in online and you have internet access, you can access the same files. So you don't need to, take a laptop home, use a flash drive. That's the use of Drive. And then you also have access to all the apps that let you open up files. So you have like Google Docs, and this is all equivalent to the Microsoft Office kind of suite, like Excel and things. So Google Sheets is like Excel. We got Google Docs, which is a text editing tool. Google Slides, which is like Microsoft PowerPoint. All of these come free and it's all web-based. So you just need a internet connection to use these. And then we have a bunch of things besides that. Some things, not many people will use, but some cool things, Google Photos, you can keep all the photos you have online. So if you lose a phone, it's kind of in the cloud, as they say. So that's what you get with a Gmail. And if you want to take a look at those and how to use Google Drive, especially like in an office setting when you really need to take advantage of what you can do with Google Drive, I do have a class next week. I think same time, same place, Wednesday 2 on Zoom. You can sign up to that if you want to take a look at Google Drive as a whole. And I'll also mention, like I said, this suite of apps is kind of analogous to Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. If you have a Microsoft Outlook account, that gives you the equivalent access to the free online Microsoft OneDrive instead of Google Drive. And that again is a free file management system online. You get access to all of Microsoft Office online. So you get access to Excel, PowerPoint, all the apps that they have without needing to pay. So this is kind of just one of these big tools that you can use, the Google side, but you can also use the Microsoft equivalent if you want. And it's a lot of the same tips and tricks and things available to you on the Microsoft side of things. Okay, so that's just my little spiel about everything that's available with the Gmail. But now let's get into the email itself. and we'll take a look at all kind of the advanced tools besides just sending emails and things like that. And please feel free to unmute and ask any questions as we go along. If you need me to slow down and show something again, go ahead. And we'll also take questions at the end if we need to.
I do have one question. You mentioned Outlook.
Yeah.
Isn't that a paid subscription service?
So Microsoft Outlook is just the email, and Microsoft OneDrive is free, just like Google Drive. But you have a second kind of edition of Microsoft OneDrive called Microsoft 365. And that's kind of like a paid edition, all of that, with kind of some fancy advanced tools. But if you just get Microsoft Outlook and you get access to OneDrive, that is totally free and open to use. It's the 365 with the slightly advanced tools that cost some money.
So, excuse me, Matt. Yeah. So OneDrive doesn't come with Microsoft 365 for free. We need to pay for that portion, right?
I believe the name Microsoft 365 is the name. It might be the name of both. It might be you can get a free account, Microsoft 365, and then you can get the paid 365. But yeah, you can get a Microsoft equivalent free, and then you can get a slightly advanced paid one. But everything you see kind of today, you can do in Microsoft without a paid account as well. It might just be the name that I'm mixing up.
Oh, yeah. So my next question, I'm thinking like, so in the ballpark, is there a major difference between Google Drive, which comes with all the suite like PowerPoint equivalent, Word equivalent, Excel equivalent, which is Sheets, and Microsoft Outlook, which comes with OneDrive and all the accessories in it, even the free version of Microsoft 365. So they are like pretty much compatible, right? Can you think of any big major difference? That is my question, I guess.
No, it's mostly like if you've been used to using Microsoft, like Excel, if you use that a lot, it's mostly like if you've been used to using that, then you can get an Outlook. It's all the same stuff. You can do spreadsheet stuff. You can do presentations. You can do text editing. You get access to a free email account. And Microsoft Outlook has equivalents to all these tricks that we'll see today in Outlook instead of Gmail. But on the whole, it's slightly different which one you take, but it's mostly the same content and functionality. So it's mostly a preference thing.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So I have this is a dummy email that I made just to show in this class. I made this about a month ago, and I just signed up to a bunch of kind of email listings and things. And you can already see I have 600 unread emails. So if you two have a lot of unread emails, kind of a messy inbox, this will be a good class to help clean up the inbox, automatically put things in boxes and all that kind of stuff. So to get going, on page 1 of the handout, this is the place that we'll need to go to do all of these tips and tricks. We need to get to the settings menu to fiddle with the email that we have. So to do that, you just go to Gmail. Up in the top right, you see this little cog wheel. If you click on that, you get some simple settings. A lot of these just change kind of the visual look of this inbox. But to change the functionality settings, we'll want to go to the See All Settings button. And then we'll see we have a lot of settings available to us that we can tweak. Just in the general box, we have a huge list of options. And then all of these tabs do specific things as well. We obviously won't look at everything today, but I picked a lot of stuff that'll help us save time and those kinds of things. So if you're following along, you can click those buttons, cogwheel, see all settings, and you'll get in. But if not, you can just keep watching. So to begin, I just want to talk about some of the most simple things, some things to like help save maybe some like typing time, things like that if you haven't done any of these settings. So in the general box, we can click on this tab if you don't have it selected. A bit of the ways down, you can kind of scan all of these things as we go. But one of the most useful things, actually it's pretty much all the way down, is a signature option. So when you make a new email by clicking the compose button, if you don't have this on, you don't set one up, you basically always get a blank message. You would do the salutation, you would do the body, and then every time you send an email, you have to say thanks, you know, my name, phone, email, website, blah, blah, blah. So that's a lot of time, a lot of typing that you need to do. But if you haven't yet, it's a good idea. You can come to this page in the settings. You obviously might not have one made yet, so you can make a new one. Just give it a name. And then you can put something into it. So you can put your name, you know, phone, email, things like that. When you finish setting it up, you can come back down to the bottom and just click Save Changes. That'll actually, you know, you need to do that to save it. But what you can do is, if we look at this one, you can do anything that you can type into the email. So I have my name and job title and my job. But you can do things like bold and italics. You can put an image in if you want to put a, you know, company logo in. And you can even see that I have a link. You could have this link on top of some text if you want. If I wanted to type out the Melbourne Library email, I could type that out and then add a link if I want, just like you would in an email. But I could even put it on top of this image. So I popped an image in using this little add image button. You can find a local file on your desktop. You could even pull it out of Google Drive if you use that and you had images on that. And then what I did is I just highlighted the image itself, and then I clicked on add link, and then I could put a link into it. So go to this, put this in, click OK. And then once you finish it, you can just check the last couple settings you need. I want to use this signing on new emails, so I'll click on the one I just made. On replies, maybe I don't want to use it, but maybe I always want to have the same thing signed at the bottom. You can choose that as you want, a couple additional settings. But then just come down, save changes, it's going to apply it. And now anytime you make a new email, you automatically have this at the bottom. You have links, you have images, images with links, you know, company data if you want. And then you just have to put in the body of the email. And you could even include, you know, some template salutation in it as you want. So that's one of the most useful things that almost everybody should have set up in an email, especially if you use it in a professional sense. So that's a good one to begin with. The next thing I want to show you, this is going a little bit beyond that basic one. And again, this is going to help us save some typing time, is the ability to make email templates. If you, again, in a professional setting, if you send people a lot of emails with the same content again and again, what you might be doing is you might be finding an email that you previously sent in the sent box, opening it up, and then copying, pasting the message so you don't have to type it out again. But we can actually make a template, you know, officially and use that. So let me show you how to do it, and then we'll see what it looks like. So again, we'll go back to settings and go to see all settings. This time we'll need to jump tabs. So we'll need to go to the advanced tab, and that's down on the bottom row. And then we just need to enable this little templates option. So we just need to click enable next to templates. It says how to access it once we enable it, but I'll show you that now. And again, just save changes so it actually applies. Just gonna reload my page. And then let's go ahead and make a template. I'll show you how to make it, and then I'll show you how to use it again and again as you want. So to make one, we just compose a new email like usual. And then now when we click on these three dots at the bottom right of this message, now if we have enabled templates, we should have this templates little button on the pop-up. So that's what we'll use once we make a template. But to begin, we just put in this compose new message, the template that we want. So we can do a little message that we want. We can add some body message that we want. And we can make as many templates as we want. So this might be some specific email that we send again and again. Maybe a email that we send to new clients. Maybe an email we send when people ask about something specific and we send some helpful links and things like that. So we just add some text to it. Just like always, we can, apply styles to it and things like that. So I'll just put in some funny ones to see it. And now once we have this template, I want to keep this and send it again and again without typing it. I come back down to these 3 dots options. I click on my templates button. And this time I want to save as template. And I can save as new template. And I'm just going to give it a name. I'll just call it demo template. Let's go ahead and save it. And now I can go ahead and I can close this email. I can even delete it. And now when I come back to my email, I can compose a new one. And now instead of typing that all again, I just come back down to this options button again, go to templates. And now I have my actual template saved. And if I just click on that, it's going to kind of copy and paste it into this new message. We can see I added my signature to the template. So maybe I want to leave that out of the template. So maybe I could do this. I'll edit my template now. So I'll leave that, but I'll take out the signing at the bottom. And then to kind of save as this, kind of update this template, I want to save draft as template. Instead of a new one, I'm just going to update demo template. So if I click on this, now I'm going to update it. I can go ahead and delete, close that. And now when I compose a new one, again, I'm just going to use it again. So options, templates, and demo template. Now I just have that save template that I wanted to. I don't have the doubling of this at the bottom, and I can use that as I will.
Matt, what about the word body? You don't have to get rid of it?
I just didn't want to type out some actual content. You would, put some actual text in this that you would send out,
But you would erase the word body.
Can you use a template for an email you're forwarding an email? Or does it have to be an original email that you're generating?
Yeah, so if you want to say I had this email, I wanted to pass it on to someone. So I got my forwarding message. Let's see if I go to template, demo template. Yeah, it looks like you could stick it at the top of that if you wanted as well. So you can kind of stick it in anytime, any place you want. If I click it again, it'll do it again. So it's up to you how you want to use it. Maybe a couple emails that you send again and again, and then you can just make a new message. You could stack it on the top of something else. You can use it, any way that you want. And again, this is just placeholding some actual, email that you would send, this little body thing. Okay, so that is templates, and that's really useful. Again, if you send emails again and again, you don't need to go back, copy and paste it, type it all out again. And we'll see in a little bit that not only can we manually send a template to save us a little bit of time, we can also auto reply with templates. So we can have the email, we can have Gmail keep an eye on incoming emails, and depending on how we want to respond, we can code into Gmail, automatically reply to such and such emails that come in with one of these pre-built templates. So we'll see in a little bit how to do that. It's not too difficult, but templates kind of have 2 uses. You can manually use them, and it's useful when you want to auto reply with someone. Say you have a business and you want to auto reply to new clients, we can kind of set that up so that way you don't have to manually sit at the email inbox and email as soon as you can, all of them at once. So we'll see that in a little bit. Next, so we'll come back to templates, but I want to keep with kind of this idea of saving typing time. And now I want to talk about something that people ask me about a lot, which is making like contact groups. When you make a new email and you want to send it to some specific group, you don't want to manually type out every single name every single time if it's some set group. You want to be able to say, you know, let me just type in group name and then populate all 20, 50, 100 people in that group. So let's see how we can set that up now to save us a little bit of time. So to do this, we don't actually go to the settings this time. We'll actually go to this, it's called the waffle icon. And that's all the Google apps that we have access to. And what we want to do is actually go to contacts. This is a different Google app from Gmail, but we can use it within Gmail. So go ahead and go to contacts. It's going to open up a new page. This is all my email contacts that I can use in Gmail. And this is how we can set up a group like this. So when I'm just going to make a new contact, that's pretty easy. We can just click make a new contact up in the top left. I'm just going to add one so we can see how it's done. You can add as much info as you want, email, phone, job title, you know, anything that you want. I'll just add email. So now I've added my colleague Eden. And now I kind of want to make a contact group of all my colleagues. So I don't have to type them all out when I want to send out like an office email. So to do that, we can see when I mouse on top of these contacts in the contact list, I can select them. So I'm going to select the people that I want, Liz, John, Janice, and Eden. And now when we select them, we got these new buttons up at the top. And one of these is called, the mouse is kind of in the way, but it's manage labels. And that's going to allow me to label them as some specific contact group. So I can click on that. I don't have any labels yet, but I can just make a new one. So I'll click create new label. I'll just call this staff team. I can save that. And now we can see I still have my whole contacts list. But on the side, if I want to look in my address book, I can look at all the people in this list. I can add people. I can take people out of this list. But now let's go back to email and see how easy it is to use this now. I'm just going to update the page in case it didn't apply it yet. So now we can compose new email. And instead of typing in people's names, people's email addresses, I can just type in the name of the contact group that I just had, just made. We can see it's listing them. And when I click on it, it automatically adds all the people that I want. And you can do that in any of these fields that you want, to CC, BCC, just like that. And now you can save a lot of time of manually typing in all these email addresses again and again. And then if you want, you can also combine it with some template, and you can combine it with some automatic signature you have at the bottom of emails. So as you begin to stack these tools up, you save a lot of typing time, that'll free you up to do something else instead. Any questions about the contact groups? Again, that's in a different page. You just have to go to contacts, but it's pretty easy to set them up and then use them like that. Okay, if not, we'll keep going on. Just going down the list, a lot of tools, but each one only takes a couple minutes to explain and apply if you want it. So now instead of saving typing time, I'm gonna do a couple that help us kind of deal with time and when to respond to emails and things like that. And one thing to begin with is when to send emails. You might get an email that you need to respond to, but maybe you want to, you don't want to send a reply just yet, but you want to schedule an email to automatically go out at the time that you choose without manually being at the desk at the inbox and clicking the send button. And we can do that quite easily in Gmail. So to begin, you just make an email as usual. You just add a recipient. We'll just add a subject. Let's call it scheduled email. You add some body to it. And then all you have to do to schedule it is, instead of clicking the send button, hidden right next to it is this little drop-down arrow button. If we click on that, we get the schedule send option. And when we click on that, we get the option to choose what day and what time this email is going to automatically get sent out. Once we pick this, we don't have to log back into email. It'll go out at the exact time that we choose. We have a couple preset options, but we don't have to stick to this. If we choose pick date and time at the bottom, we get a whole 12-month span that we can choose. So if we want to send something, in 6 months, we can skip ahead and choose a date, choose a time that you want to send it, and then we just click schedule send. And now we can see on the left-hand side of my inbox, I kind of have something that maybe you haven't noticed yet. We have this special scheduled box. And this is the place that email is kind of hanging out until it gets automatically sent on the day and time that I chose. So I can come back to this if I want, cancel it, I can edit it and then schedule it again if I want to update it. But it's just going to hang out into this box until this date that I chose, 11/1 at 10 a.m. And then it's just going to go out automatically. So you can use these any way you want. One way that I use it a ton actually is I schedule emails when I need to, and then I send them to myself. So if I want to remind myself of something, maybe something I need to do in a month, maybe in 6 months, all I have to do is just send an email to myself and then just schedule it. And then it's automatically going to pop into the top of my inbox from myself with the message that I need to do something, anything like that. So sending emails to myself via the scheduling thing is really useful, I find. Okay. Again, kind of dealing with time again. So we just looked at scheduling emails. Something else that we can look at, we'll go back to this settings button and see all settings, is undoing sent emails. If we send something by accident, we didn't finish the email, something like that, we can enable it so we can pull that email back within a couple seconds, a half minute. But it gives us a little bit of leeway. If we click send, maybe not even click send, it somehow sends by itself, we hit a button by accident. We can enable it to not do that. So on the general settings tab, kind of at the top, we see this undo send option. This might actually be the default, half a minute. I don't know if I changed this. It might be the default, the max time. So if it is, we don't even need to save it. But now when I send an email, let me just add a recipient. This is one of my many emails. And if I click send, you'll notice on the bottom left, it says message sent, but I also have the option to undo it. And Google's gonna wait, it looks like half a minute until this option goes away. So even though it's been 15 seconds, I can click undo and it pulls back that email. That recipient's not gonna get it. And I can, edit it as I need to if I sent it by accident. So that's useful. I always put my undo time sent option as high as I can go, just in case. But something else that I do to help me not send emails by accident is I actually always put the recipient last, and then I do the subject and the body of the message. And that way I can't automatically send it, because even if I push send by accident, it can't send without any recipients. So I always fill out my subject, do my body, do my checks, and then I add the recipient. And up until that point, I can't even accidentally send it. So that's something else that I do to help me catch any accidentally sent emails. And then next, dealing with kind of time of when to respond and things like that, is the Google Snooze button. You may have seen the Snooze button hanging about Gmail and not known what it is and how to use it. And what the Snooze button does is you can snooze emails that come to you. So things in this inbox, you can use this snooze option to basically hide that email so it kind of vanishes from this page. And just like the schedule email, you can choose a time when it's going to pop back up, and then it pops back to the top of the inbox. So if someone sends me an email, something I need to do, but I can't do it yet, maybe I need to do it next month or next week, instead of leaving it in my inbox, instead of maybe, you know, some people leave a message unread to kind of let them know they need to come back to that, but that's a little bit messy, kind of in the way. So say with this email, I wanted to snooze it instead. So it's totally hidden, but it'll pop back up to the top of my inbox. I can just open up an email. The snooze button is this little clock button up at the top that says snooze on the dropdown. And just like the schedule email, I just pick a date and time. So maybe I want to handle this next week. It's fine if it gets in at 8 a.m. That's fine. And now we can see it's actually out of my inbox, but on that date that I just chose, it's gonna pop back up at the top with a little indication that this was snoozed a little while ago. And just like scheduled emails. Yeah.
If you use the search mail function, will a snooze email show up?
It should. We'll take a look at it. So let me see. So snoozed, so just like schedule, snoozed, you can find the snoozed email. So it's not totally hidden. You can actually find it quite quickly, just the snoozed email. So if you want to find something that you hid, you could just come to snoozed. So you could do it that way. But you could also probably find it up at the top. So if you say Google, yeah, so even though I just typed in Google, it still found that snoozed email at the top. So it's not hidden from anything that you want to do on email. You can find it multiple ways.
I was thinking of using that function for Zoom links that come in for meetings on different days.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good use of it. So yeah, you could snooze an email to pop back up, you know, a little bit ahead of, you know, that meeting. That would be a good use of it, yeah. I will say that it always, snooze and scheduled emails, the time that you choose, it always shows up on the day that you choose. The exact time, it might be off by like 1 to 5 minutes. It's not gonna be off by half a day, but just so you know, it might be off by 5 minutes, depending on when it sends. So just kind of, you know, choose the time with a slight bit of leeway. You know, don't send a snoozed email to show back up 5 minutes ahead of when you need it. Maybe choose 15, 20, just in case. Okay, so that is snoozed emails, and that lets you handle emails you don't want to get to yet. And then lastly, again, dealing with time, I'm just going to show you, again, in settings, how to put on a vacation response. If you leave the office and you want to send out kind of an automatic reply to anyone who emails you, you know, I'm out of the office, I'll be back on such and such a date. We can easily set that up in the settings and the general tab all the way at the bottom. So we can see at the bottom, we just click on and off when we want this to happen. We can say begin today. You could set this up to begin in 2 days if you want to set it up, but you won't go on vacation just yet. You can choose the last day and when it shuts off beyond that, although that's optional if you want. And then you just, you know, add a subject. You can add a message, you know, hey, I'm on vacation, be back next week. If you have any questions, you know, email my colleagues instead, blah, blah, blah. And then you just save changes. And then that'll be set up. Anyone who emails you will get an automated reply like that. And you can see it says if a contact sends you multiple messages, you'll only get this automatic reply once every couple of days. You can also tweak it so you only send a response to people in contacts. So anyone who you don't know who's contacting you won't get it, but anyone you have saved, anyone you email a lot can get it. So you can have a whole bunch of options with this that you can set up as you want. So that's always good to use when you go on vacation, when you'll be out of the office, even just busy, you won't be able to get to emails. you can use that. So that's all the tips to kind of dealing with time, saving typing time, things like that. Next, we'll talk about how to find emails. You know, you might have an inbox with thousands of emails. You might have thousands of unread emails. You might have an inbox that has kind of no system to it. I just have everything in this inbox. I don't have it all labeled and boxed away neatly. So it could be difficult to find, you know, a specific email you need from the past. So we'll look at that. And then we'll take a look at kind of how to automate things at the end of the class, how to automatically label things, automatically reply, delete things, things like that. So you might know this, when you need to find something, you do have this little find tool at the top of Gmail, and this lets you just find kind of anything that you type into it someplace in the email. So if I type in CodePen, we can see it finds anything with CodePen in it. It finds contacts with the name CodePen. It finds things with CodePen in the body of the message, in the subject of the message. So that's kind of the most open way to find things. As you can see, if I want to find a specific thing in CodePen, this doesn't help me a whole lot because I found everything that mentions CodePen and it didn't really whittle it down a whole lot. So that's the simplest way to use it. But we have a lot of additional options we can use to whittle down exactly what we pull out of the inbox. And we can type these things in manually, but if you just click on this button, these options, you can see, you can find things based on specific facets. So instead of just finding CodePen anyplace, maybe I only want to find CodePen in the subject line. Maybe I only want to find things that mention new books in the subject line. So if I go to that, we can see I found all my new books things, and I found it from multiple people. So I found it from the library. It looks like I sent an email at one point that mentioned new books. So we can do it like that. We can stack things up so we can find all new books, but maybe date within 1 week of, you know, today. So if we do that, it looks like we only have one email from the last week that mentions new books. And we can also see that even though we use these little easy tools, all the things that we type in kind of have a manual way to type them into the top of the email. So if you want to, you can kind of memorize how to set these things up, but you can also just use these options like this, depending on, you know, what you need and how often you use it. One thing that's really useful that I use a lot is finding like attachments. You know, it's one thing to find emails, but maybe you need to find an attachment that someone sent you. You have this has attachment option that you can use. But you can also find things like only find image files. So if I typed in file name JPEG, it's going to find me all my emails that have a JPEG attached to it. And if I type in, I don't know how many attachments I have in this, but if I type in PNG, that's a second type of image file. Looks like I have, you know, 10 of these. I could type in, is that the Excel extension? But I don't think I have any Excel files in this. Maybe PDFs I want to find. I have one PDF in my inbox. So you can use a lot of these to do a lot of different things.
Matthew, how did you get to that search parameters? How'd you get to it?
Oh yeah, so, yep. So on the right-hand side, you have the additional options button. So instead of just typing in something, yeah, you can do this. You can look.
Okay,
you know,
thank you.
Like that. So that'll be the best way to use it, kind of that options button on the side. And then that could be one way to just find emails. But once you find some collection of emails based on something that you make with this, you can also do things to them. So as an example, I have 600 emails in my inbox. So maybe I want to make them all read emails. So I have a nice clean slate of 0 emails. So one thing that I can do is I can just type in is unread. That's kind of the manual way of typing that out. And then we can see it whittled down all my emails that it shows to just the unopened ones. And it shows 50 at a time, 50 of many, AKA 600. But now that I have this kind of specific collection of emails, I can kind of click and select them and do things that I want. So I could click a couple and make them red. I could do that, but that takes a lot of time. I could click this button up at the top and that selects all 50 on this page. And then I can click them as red. But you can see even as we do that, I still have 580 emails. I don't want to do 50 at a time. So I can click choose all. It says we've chosen 50 on this page, but I can't select all that match this. So if I click this, I think it's selected all 582. And now I can say, let me flag it as red. It says this is going to do a bulk action. So it's going to do it to everything that I found by is on red. And if I click OK, yeah, now I applied it to as many emails as I want. You can see I now have no unread emails just using that little trick like that. So in addition to finding emails with this tool, you can also find emails and then do specific things to them. So you can find them and then make them unread. You can find them, then delete them. You can find some and then put them in some specific labeled inbox if you want. Anything that you want like that. But we'll see in 5-10 minutes, everything that we just looked at, finding emails and then doing some action to them. We can also automate that. So instead of going back and cleaning up the inbox once in a while, we can just have it. So anytime an email comes in, based on what checks we want to do, we can say, hey, put a label on these types of emails. Hey, delete these. We know this is spam. Hey, flag this as red, but don't delete it. We just want it to kind of hide in the inbox, but I don't want it taking up space. Kind of anything that you want based on how you can find it, and then based on what kind of actions you want to do to that email. And we'll see that in a couple minutes. But next, speaking of kind of cleaning up the inbox, again, if you came into the class with a messy inbox, you might have a lot of unread emails. So you might want to just clean it up so you have a nice clean slate. But you also might have to deal with a lot of spam messages, things that you want to block, things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about blocking and unsubscribing emails now, like that. So if we go, we'll just go to a specific email, maybe this LinkedIn jobs thing. And we'll take a look at the couple ways that we can kind of block this email, maybe say it's spam, so it doesn't show back up in the inbox. So one way is anytime you get some type of advertising email from Amazon, from like this jobs thing, kind of any company that sends you promotional stuff, they legally have to, at the bottom of the email, some of you might know about it, but some of you not, they always have to have something that says unsubscribe. It might say opt out, something like that. And we can click on that. And this basically lets us go to LinkedIn and tell them you need to stop sending me emails. So we can use this option. That's kind of the, it takes a couple clicks. You have to go to the bottom and find this in the fine print. They have to put it, but they like to hide it kind of. So you could use that. The second way that we can kind of block messages is we can click the unsubscribe button up at the top, kind of by the contact name above the email body. This is something that Gmail makes. It gives us an unsubscribe button. And this is kind of Gmail doing the unsubscribe on my behalf. So we could do it that way. And then we also have a couple options on this side. So next to the reply button, things like that, we have this options button. And down this way, we have a couple options. So we could just delete this single message, but we could also block any emails that come in from LinkedIn jobs. So we could block it. We could say it's spam. We could say it's phishing. I don't actually quite know the difference between blocking, saying it's spam, and saying it's phishing. I believe if you choose any of them, they won't come to the inbox and you kind of won't see them, but I don't know what else beyond that kind of differentiates them. as to how it affects what goes on in your email. But kind of any of those will kind of keep it out of the inbox if you want. So you can do that as well. And then finally, one last thing that we can kind of do, not to a single email, but maybe some types of emails. So maybe we could come and find some emails. So we can say, find all emails from LinkedIn. See what else we can find. Okay, so we can find a couple things at once. We could say, we want to block anything that comes from Google, anything that comes from LinkedIn. Maybe Google's not a good example, but I don't know what else is in this inbox. So we can find a couple things. And then what we can do is we can kind of select all. And then let me see. And then we have the options that we had at an individual email level. So we can say, all of this is spam. We can delete all of these at once. We can label them, things like that. And we can also choose this option, which is filter messages like these. And if we click that, this is when we get to that kind of automatic thing that we'll talk about in a couple minutes. We see the same field that we looked up emails in, and we see it just populates it based on which emails that we selected. So we selected anything from Google, anything from LinkedIn, anything from Google, LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. So it's gonna find anything from those. It might say, find anything with this subject line. But then we have this option down at the bottom to make some type of filtration rule. And now when we choose this, this is gonna be something that actually lasts. So if we apply this, if we say, always delete these, maybe instead of deleting them, always flag them as red and skip the inbox. So I don't see them, but they still come to my inbox if I want to find them. We can apply any of these. And now anything that we get from now on will obey this. So they'll skip the inbox and get flagged as red. So we can do those two using the same buttons we've been using. And we'll come back to this in just a second as the last big thing in the class. I just wanted to, actually, yeah, we'll do that now. So we can do an automatic filtration thing. We can do an automatic email rule that way. But the easiest way to kind of make one on the fly is, again, go to those settings, see all settings. And then we have a whole tab just to make these. So if I go to this button, you can see I don't have any yet, but now I can make a new one if I want. So now I get the same thing that I saw when I was finding my emails. So if I want to, block someone, I could say all emails from so-and-so, anything that I want like that. But maybe we'll say find all emails with the subject new books, because I know that comes from the library. Maybe I can do this instead. I'll add the library email. So all library emails. I'm going to select that. So any emails that come in from now on that match this, we'll get these actions applied. So any emails that match this, I'm going to do this automatically from now on. So I can say flag it as red and skip the inbox. Again, so I can keep it, but it's not going to take up space. I only have to view it if I want to. I can label it if I want. And this is how we can begin to make different inboxes on the side. So we'll actually do that now. I can make a new label. Yeah.
How did you get to that screen
Yeah.
with all the box selections? How'd you get to that?
Yeah, let me show you again from the beginning.
Yeah.
So in settings.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Filters.
Okay. Yeah, go to this, make a new one.
Right.
And then we add in how we want to find the emails. So I can put in, I want to find all emails that come in from this email address. And then we just click on this at the bottom.
Great filter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now Step one is choosing which emails we detect that we want to do something to. And then step two is just choose what to do to any of those emails that match what we chose. Oops. Let me hop back in.
Question.
Yeah.
If an email skips the inbox, how do you know that you've gotten it?
Well, that's the thing. If you want to know that you got it, you just don't skip the inbox. But maybe if you get some emails that you don't need to check a whole lot, maybe it's something that you should have available, but you don't want to constantly have to open up the emails to clean out the inbox. This is something that you can choose. And I'll show you what this looks like. So if we skip the inbox, maybe say flag all these as red, we'll apply a label. We'll say, this is all library stuff. And then you can see as I made that label, I got this box on the side below my inbox. I can do any of these things that I want to, as many things as possible. One key thing at the bottom is it says also apply this to matching conversations. This is what we can choose to apply this to all emails that we have already in the inbox. So we can at once apply this rule to any emails that we have come in, and we can apply it to any emails that we have in the past already in the inbox and clean them up and apply all these rules to them at once. So when I make this, and then I go back to my kind of home inbox, oops, we see my inbox, but then when we go down to this new label, we can see I only see these emails that matched from this email address. I only see them in this label, in this specific inbox. I won't see any of these in this main inbox. I will only see them in this. And anytime I get a new email, it's just gonna pop up at the top. It's automatically gonna be a red email, so I won't have a little 1 next to this next time I get a new email. And I won't see it in this, but that's just if you want to. You don't have to skip the inbox if you want. You can also apply a label, but not skip the inbox. So you see them both in this inbox and in this one as well. So you can find it in 2 places if you want to, like that. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So you can see as you make them, you just kind of stack them up and you can just see what you have applied to the inbox like that. And you could do as many as you want. Any emails that come from colleagues, you can apply label, staff team, any emails that come from someone that you don't want to have sending you emails. I'll just put in some emails. So anything from this email, you can delete it if you want. If you have emails that go to spam a lot, which you don't want to, they somehow end up in spam, you can say anything from this email address, don't send it to spam, like that. And this is also when you can use those templates that we made at the beginning of the class again. So what I can say is anything from this email address, I can send a template to, and I can just choose my template. So that message that we made a couple minutes ago, in this case, anytime I get an email from this, it's gonna automatically get sent that template email. But let's take a look at something we could do that's actually useful using templates. So make a fresh email rule that I want. And when it comes to making templates and automatic replies, what you might do is you might want to automatically reply to any new emails, but you might want to do a couple caveats, maybe only new emails from outside possible new clients. You don't want to automatically reply to anyone within the company, just as an example. So what we can do is we can kind of set up a special from message like this. So what I can do is I can say, hang on 1 second. I can say, I want to send it to, the hyphen means not. The asterisk in this case is going to mean anything. And then I can put an email domain. So what I've said is match any email that is not from this email domain, and anything can be in this place. So it's going to match this because John replaces that anything. It's going to match this because Liz replaces anything, but it's not going to match people outside the company. So if I get this email, it doesn't match this. So this can get an automatic reply like this. And it's a bit of a complicated example, but it just shows exactly what you can do with kind of the special tools available to you. So now we can say, match anyone outside my company, meaning outside my email address. I'll go ahead and make a new thing. And then I can say automatically auto reply, send template, and I can choose maybe a new client template if I've made one like that. And then I can just apply it down at the bottom. So a bit of a complicated example. You can do a lot of cool stuff with all of these settings, how to choose specific emails that come in. And then once you've done that, what exactly you'll do with those. But it's the most useful thing in the inbox that you can do. The most common thing that you'll do is probably something like this. You'll have like colleagues or something that you get emails from a lot. And something that you have a lot of these of is just apply labels. So we can say, I can make a staff box. And now on my left-hand side, I can just find any emails that come from my colleagues, my staff, all in one place without having to dig in my main inbox, which has everything. So that's the most common use of it, just to kind of label things and put things in nice boxes like that. Okay. So that
question.
Yeah.
This may sound a little complicated. I have two email addresses in Gmail, one for myself and the other for an organization.
Mm-hmm.
But when emails come into the secondary account, I don't normally see them. I have to remember to periodically check the other Gmail account.
Okay.
If
Yes.
I were to have an automatic response in emails received for the secondary account and blind copy myself, would I then be able to see in my primary account that an email come into the secondary?
Yeah, so what you would do in that case, you don't even need to use a template in CC. Let me show you exactly what you can do. So go into settings, go back to this guy, which we've been doing, go ahead and make a new one. And you'll do this in that second account, which you don't use a whole lot. And what you'll do is you can, actually, do you want to send kind of everything that comes into that email to the main account that you check?
I want to know it's there, so.
Okay, yeah. So what you can do instead, actually, is instead of this one, you can use this one. And what you can do is use this thing at the top. You just add an address. And maybe this is my main email that I want to send things to. The inbox that I'm in now is the one that I don't check a whole lot. And so what I can do is you have to okay this. But what happens is any emails that come into this inbox at all get sent on to the email that I just chose, this mapped at one. So if you want to kind of link two emails and have the one that you don't check a whole lot, send all of its stuff to the one that you check, you can use this option like this. And this kind of catches everything. Anything that comes in, a duplicate gets sent to the email that you choose, you know, the main email that you want to use.
All right, so that's a duplicate. If several of us are sharing the secondary account, the emails would still be in the secondary account for other people to see it, but I'd be getting a copy in my account.
Yep, it's not deleted. Yeah, it's a copy gets sent to you. You can then respond to it from the email that you use a whole lot. But the unused email account will still have that copy. Someone else can log in and check it, things like that. Exactly. So that's also a key thing that I was going to get to next. If you have two emails, but you only want to check one, you can say automatically forward all emails to, you know, the main account. So you can just do that in this kind of bulk action, send everything on. You also can, back in this tab, you can say, you know, match something specific, maybe match subject, maybe match which type of message or subject line. And then what you can do is also choose to do it in this. So instead of sending everything on, you can kind of whittle down, only choose these specific emails and then send me a copy like that. So you can kind of do it manually in this spot instead of applying it to everything in that second spot.
Matt, what does the word pop stand for in the filters?
Okay, yeah, let me, this one? Okay.
Yeah, what does POP stand for?
So POP and IMAP both have to do with what we just talked about, kind of linking multiple emails.
Okay.
I get them confused, but one, it's kind of two sides of the same coin. If we link two emails, what you can do is you can say in my second account that I don't check a whole lot, send all emails to my main Gmail account. And depending on these settings, you can say, delete the email in the account that got it and just send the actual email to my main account. You can do it that way. But you can also do what we just talked about, send a copy to my main account, but keep the copy in the inbox. And you can kind of see that in this spot. This is a lot of, you know, advanced stuff, but that's basically what it is. It has to do with linking emails, and if emails get saved in both places, or if you just send the copy on, then delete it in the original inbox. That's what that is. Okay. Yeah, so that is, so we have a couple things in the handout that I didn't get to, some things I didn't plan on getting to, but if you want to see it all, you can check out the handout. But that's kind of the end of the class. So any questions now, you can unmute and ask. You can put it in the chat as well if you want instead. I'm free to hang out and take questions now. If anyone wants to see something again.
Hello, yes, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a way to unsubscribe to emails?
Yeah, just unsubscribe from an email that you get all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, so like, so this is my inbox. We can see, I get a lot of LinkedIn
but not in the way that you did it. Like in Yahoo, you have like a button that you said subscriptions, and you see all the subscription that your email has, and you just can go there and subscribe all of them at the same time without not going to each one of them.
Yeah, not exactly. Like we said, you can,
okay.
What you might be able to do is do something, let's go to find, let's say unsubscribe, find any email with this in the body.
Mm-hmm.
And depending, it could be, you could have an email that says unsubscribe, but it's not a promotional email. But you can see, it looks like I found a lot of things that just kind of automatically get sent to me. You know, I find the library, but that's still a promotional email. You could use this, maybe add on a few specific email addresses. And then once you find that bulk quantity of emails, you can just select all. And then you can choose this option on the additional options, filter messages like these. And then you can do something like, you can't unsubscribe, but you can delete them. You can,
got it.
You know, it's up to you. But yeah,
perfect.
At the individual level, you can unsubscribe, but at the bulk level, you kind of have to get creative as to how you find it. Okay. Anything else? Let's take a look at the handout. I think we got to most of what I wanted to, but again, we skipped a few little things. A lot of examples in the handout, especially when it comes to the last little bit as to, so like this is something that you could do. You could say, like I said, you could find any email with the unsubscribe in the message. You could also say, find anything with unsubscribe, or else find anything with opt out, and then you could block it, things like that. Again, just some examples of how to make these, all the options, some templates. One thing I'll mention just while we wait on questions that's kind of interesting. With a Gmail, you have your Gmail name, like johnsmith@gmail.com, but you also kind of have, you also kind of have available to you kind of multiple email names in a way. So my email might be John Smith, but I can also use just as equally john.smith@gmail.com. I can log in that way. People can send emails to john.smith@gmail.com, and they will all come to me. And you can also do one last cool thing, which is called an alias. And that's, you can add on between the email name, again, John Smith, and the @gmail.com. You can add in anything that you want. So I can do John Smith plus shopping, John Smith plus Amazon, John Smith plus free account @gmail.com. All of those emails will still come to me. So if I do, this is this email account's, this is this account's name, and I added in plus free account. Let me just say hello. Let me send this, and we can see I got it. It still comes to me, even though I had that plus free account. And the reason that I mentioned this is you can use this to kind of deal with subscriptions and things like that. So if we go back to see all settings and kind of make an email rule, create a new message, we can see one of the fields is the to box. And this might be a little strange. Obviously, most emails come to me, so it kind of seems useless. But what you could do is do something like John Smith plus Hulu@gmail.com. And then you can say, I want to do something with all the emails from Hulu. So you can kind of conveniently give people email addresses so that you can conveniently tidy up the inbox when they get to you, because they'll come to you as John Smith plus Hulu@gmail.com. So you can conveniently sift those emails as they come in. It's also a good way to catch who sells your email to someone else. If you sign up to some website with John Smith plus free account @gmail.com, and then you get an email from some different company, but it's to John Smith plus free account @gmail.com, you can kind of tell who passed on that email and who sold it to them. So you can kind of use these aliases in a couple ways, mostly just to kind of tidy up how you can sift messages as they come in. So you can do like a plus Facebook, you could do plus shopping discounts, plus Amazon. And that way, if you sign up to John Smith plus shopping to Amazon, to someplace else, then you can just say, find all emails to John Smith plus shopping and put them all in my shopping label. So that's one thing that you can do as well to kind of make it as easy as possible to kind of deal with these unwanted emails, all these emails that you get coming in. So that's a cool trick that's available with Gmail. It isn't available with anything else, I think. I don't think you get that with Outlook and Yahoo and AOL, this little trick. Okay.
Matt, I didn't understand. I didn't understand that. Like, when you send out the email, will they see the plus Hulu?
Yeah, they will. So as you can see, when if I make a new email, this is this account's.
Wait, could you back up? What did you do in the upper right-hand corner?
What do you mean?
Your mouse went, start again, go slower.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna make a new email.
Right.
I'm just gonna put in this account's Gmail.
Right.
But just to show you, you can add in as many dots as you want. I could separate my names if I want. Right. And I can also put anything else that I want. I could put in Amazon if I want to sign up to Amazon with my email plus Amazon. And just to show you, these still come back to you, even though I added in these dots and I added in kind of any text that I want. If we send this email, we can see I just get it. So we can see it's sent from my email and it's to my email plus Amazon. So you can sign up to websites using this trick, but they'll all still come to you in the end.
So the person you're sending to it sees it.
Yeah, they would see it.
But Gmail knows that that the main person is Matt Spitzer.
Yep, yeah, so Gmail just checks this email and just says, okay, I'm just gonna look at basically the text. So it's gonna skip these periods. And when it sees a plus something at the end, it just kind of doesn't pay attention to that. Okay, so Gmail would see this at Spitzer James Matthew, find me and send it to me.
Okay, so knows you're the parent one. You're the parent email.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
The most useful thing is to use this with kind of automated like website signups and things like that. If you want to use it with like sending emails to actual people, you can, but it's most convenient to use it with these like automatic signups to websites and deals and things like that, so that you can deal with them when they come back in.
So Matt, in that case, like the email ID Matt.Spitzer or Matt Spitzer or Matt __ Spitzer at Gmail, are these like all same or?
Yeah, so it's only these two things. So it's only add in periods if you want, and it's only add in between the like actual email name and at Gmail, you can add in a plus something at the end of it, between the end of the email name and the at Gmail, you can add in something with a plus sign. That's the only two changes that you can do. So you wouldn't be able to do, like you just said, you wouldn't be able to do this because it doesn't like these. Oh. So it's only with periods, and only in between the email name and the at Gmail, you can do anything that you want.
With a plus sign, right?
With a plus sign, some text at gmail.com.
Okay, or the dots, periods, like in between the name. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have to set it up in that alias box first?
In this?
Yeah.
No, this is just the handout. This is automatic. You don't need to set it up. You can just use it as you want. So I can just type in anything I want.
If you use dots and pluses, it knows it's aliases.
Yeah, so I just made this up on the fly. I'll send it to myself and I get it back immediately. It always knows it's me based on this.
So how do you trace it back to like a website that you subscribe to?
Well, yeah, so the point is if I sign up to like Amazon or maybe some site that I want to buy some product on,
right,
but I know they'll send me promotional emails, I can sign up with Spitzer James Matthew plus maybe the name of that website. And then what you would do is I could come to my inbox and say, anything that's to me plus that website name, I want to find it when it comes in and I want to do something with it. I could label it as, you know, some website, if it's Amazon, if it's something else. If it's some website that I don't want emails to, I can just say, automatically delete these. I'm just going to use this alias as kind of a flag to detect any messages that come in that I don't want. So it's up to you how you use it. It's just kind of it's exactly that, a flag that comes in to just help you tidy up the inbox.
That's interesting, Matt, never knew it. So I'm thinking like, see, my name is Shubhra Roy. So Shubhra Roy at Gmail, one word, and Shubhra.Roy at Gmail will be the same, right?
Yeah, so like if that's this, yeah, this will come to you. This will come to you. Oh, yeah, you can use it as you want.
And you were saying only Gmail has this.
Yeah, you can only use this with an at gmail.com, which should be all of you if you came to this class, but yeah, only Gmail.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much. Thank you.
But again, that's just, yeah.
On the previous thing you did, the minus signs means not, and what does the asterisk mean?
Okay, yeah, so let me do that again. So that's when I made some rule that's coming in. So I think what I did is I said, I wanted to set up like an automatic reply to any new clients at my business, I think. And the idea was, I want to automatically reply to anyone not within my company. So I basically need to check any email that's not the one that my company uses.
Okay.
So this is my company email. So what I do is the minus sign means not what follows. So I'm going to catch anything that's not this. And then the asterisk just means, you know, anything that is the actual email name. So like this, it could find this, but it won't find this, because it basically says anything that's not this plus, you know, the actual email name. So this plus something, which is the asterisk, it's not going to match that, but it will match john@gmail.com because it's not someone within this company, within that email domain. So I could set this up, say anything not in my email domain, and then I could say, send a template, new client, welcome email, things like that.
So the minus is not in your company, and the asterisk again is?
The asterisk is, it's taking the place of the name of the email. So,
okay, oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
it's in place of Matthew at Millwall. It's in place of, yeah.
Now I get, and now it's sunk into my head. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little high tech tool, little like almost coding like syntax. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, any questions? It looks like running out of questions. I'll just mention one last thing that's in the handout. If you have anything that you need to send an email, but like if you have a movie file that's too big, if you have a batch of photos that adds up to too many megabytes, sometimes you may have run into this issue. What you can do with Gmail is you can upload that file to the Google Drive. So you can put it in the cloud. And then instead of sending someone that movie, those photos, you can send them a link to the file that you have in Drive so that they can view it, they can download it themselves. So this you can use to send kind of big things in email that usually you wouldn't be allowed to. Most emails have some limit on how big the email is. It's, you know, megabyte size. So you can use that little trick to send big things in Gmail.
Does the file have to be a shared file, or do you not have to designate it as shared for someone to get the link to your file?
So next week I have the Google Drive class if you want to take that to see it all. But I think when you make a new email and you like, if I have a movie file on my desktop and I try to add it as an attachment, I think when you do that, I don't have one available to test it, but I think it would say this file is too big. And then it gives me the automatic ability. It says, would you like to add this to Drive and send a view only link? So you can test it if you want, you know, maybe find a movie file that you have and see what happens when you try and attach something that's too big. I think Gmail is pretty good about telling you exactly how to go about the steps that I just explained.
Thank
Obviously, that image is small enough. Okay. If you have any last questions, go ahead, but feel free to log out now. It seems like we might be running dry. Thank you all. I'll stick around in case anyone peeps up the last second, but I will see you in the next class if I see you again.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.
you.
Bye.